I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, it seems like a recurring story, but we're again mindful of the devastation in the country of Colombia. The thousands of people are devastated by this. And God, we again brings us to a thankful heart for this community and your providence, your protection, provision. God, I ask that you just guide and direct this city forward and help these leaders to use your wisdom, Lord Jesus, in doing so. In Jesus we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Vernon. Here. Alderman Phillips. Alderman Weeberry. Alderman Crockett.
Here.
Alderman Walker.
Here.
Alderman Fair. Here. Alderman Benjamin. Mr. Asbury.
Here.
Mayor Vernon, you have four.
Thank you, sir. Consent agenda items, you should have one two claims reports and minutes from our last meeting. Any questions on those? I'll entertain a motion.
Making the approval of the bills. Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. This is a participation Axios group of insurance. From there. Okay, we have. What's that?
Alright.
Yes, so this one we had, the guys had gone out, they were doing the shut-offs, they said they shut it off, she came in and paid, they went to go turn it back on, and I guess it was already turned on, so we put the tampering fee on, which is what's supposed to do in the ordinance, that's how we do it. Well, then they contested, she said that no one ever tampered with it, so right now, since she's contesting it, the water is back on, and we have a payment plan, so she could have water without having to take the tampering fee off until they can get decided. Since it's in the ordinance, the tampering fee goes on, it's up to the board to decide if we take the fee off. Because right now, the water guy said it got changed since they were out there, she said nobody in the household touched it. And it was all within about a day's time, so.
Is she not here?
There was, she didn't show up, no, but they didn't have time to, really looking at the hourly reads and things. I got the daily reads printout that Alderman Benjamin requested, but even on the hourly ones, it wasn't really a long enough time to see whether or not it's been off for an extended period of time, turned back on and turned back off. It's just their word, her word, and City Hall can't touch the fee, so.
About the $150 fee.
Yes, the tampering fee.
Why would you come in and pay the bill? That seems
Well, she
counterintuitive.
got shut off and then came to pay to get it turned on, so the
Yes.
guys are pretty good. I take their word, but I don't really know her other than what she said.
But isn't it counterintuitive to give somebody money when you know they're gonna come in to your house and turn it on if you've already turned it on?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Is there any way that any of this could happen without anybody doing anything? Is that possible?
It can't move itself, so it's just their word against hers.
Whose word?
The water guy, I got both of their statements here. Baldwin and I can't even, Steve, do you know which two guys it was, cause I can't read their names. Alright.
If the valve was turned off and then the valve was back on when they got there, there's only one way to turn the valve off.
Is there, will the minute read show us it's actually not being used for a certain point of time?
Depends on how many hours you went without using water. It should, but you have to go through it day by hour by hour.
For the day of shut off, can we get a report for that and table this until we see that? I mean, I hate to charge somebody if they didn't. I mean, I'm hoping that the city workers actually did shut it off, but
Well, a lot
things
of
can get
times-
missed.
The reason we call it tamper fees, when we get there, when we go to turn it back on, it's already turned on, and then we notify City Hall because that happens a lot.
So how many times do we charge fees?
Every time, we catch it. Correct, so?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it probably happens 2 or 3 times a cut off would be my best guess.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be a lot more back in the day, I mean, but we ended up, back in the day, we ended up really enforcing it with Kidwell, and so it kind of fixed the problem, we still have a few here and there.
Is it locked now, or you can't mess with it now?
It's not locked.
No, so when we turn them off, they're not locked. Now, if they tamper with them and they hadn't paid the bill, then we'll lock them to make sure they don't do it again.
Gotcha.
But I mean, if you guys wanted to start locking every single one, we could, just locks are really expensive. And I mean, you're talking 70 to 120 every month.
That we shut off?
Hmm?
That we shut off?
Yeah.
Do other people live in this lady's house?
That I do not know. Her name, I believe, is the only one that was on the application.
How much are you talking for a lock?
What were they when you just bought the one? They were $600. weren't they?
Yeah, I got 12 locks and it's $600.
Holy cow, really?
Well, there was 6 big, little locks and 4 big locks.
Well,
For a
she's,
one-time fee, it might be worth it, but that's a ton.
she says in the documentation that she doesn't even know where that is. And I can support that, because I don't know where it is at my house. I wouldn't be able to do that, because I don't know where it is either.
It's kind of fiddly. So, I mean, some people know where they're at, some people don't. I mean, some are kind of hard to find anyway.
Well, my point is, if somebody else lives in her house, or if she has, oh heaven forbid, teenagers, you know, something could have happened unknown to her. That's possible.
So what do you wanna do? You
I
wanna
was
table
at
it till
the
we see
table
it?
to see the usage. I mean, if there's a shut off for any period of time, you're gonna see a lack of usage.
So she's not gonna get her water turned off, if she's on payment plan, right? As far as-
Yes, since it's contested, because normally to have your water turned back on, you have to completely clear out your bill, but we have her back on with
So
that
as long
fee
as the
still
water's
on.
not getting turned off, I'm good with that. Okay. Is that a motion, Terry?
Yes, sir.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Caitlin Skinner.
That is me. Okay, I'll preface this by saying I, reached out to Caitlin based on what she does, to have her come and give us, she speaks DNR and a lot of us don't.
I do fluently, unfortunately.
And so I thought, it would just be a really good idea to know all of our resources. I know we have to respond to DNR, but I know it's a very long process, and she lives and breathes this kinds of stuff and has helped other towns fix their water and their infrastructure, so I just wanted her to kind of come and chat with us, and that way if you have any questions, she's our person.
And so that's really my point to be here, just be a source of information for you guys. So my company is Contract Operations, very similar to, you're familiar with Alliance probably. There's a few of us smaller ones locally here in the Lake area. And as you know, there's a limited set of water systems and wastewater systems. We all kind of trade on and off over the years. So my company currently operates 150 facilities. 60 of those are drinking water facilities, and over a dozen of them are chlorinated. Recently, we took over the city of Barnett. I'm actually in the process of removing their chlorination with DNR's approval. So you guys have options, and I think that was kind of the intention, is for me to kind of come in and share some of my experiences. And I talk to DNR on the daily. I was just at my own level 2 assessment this morning. I have somebody who is in trouble. We're working our way through this whole, not in relation to E. coli, but similar, okay? And it's all the same steps. So I'm really just here to kind of see what I can do to help you guys gain some knowledge. So.
I mean, my biggest piece is, when we talked last time, I know American Water was here and people were really angry, so they kind of got attacked a little bit, but the chlorination seems to be a really big issue with Elvin citizens. And I feel like if there is a way that we do not have to permanently chlorinate, that we can do it until we get our lives straightened out a little bit, I think that's an option that a lot of folks that even I've talked to outside of here want us to explore. Nobody loves the chlorination factor. Also think it helps to have somebody who speaks DNR that can sort of be a mediator between what we're trying to figure out and what they're trying to figure out, because ultimately what we all want is clean water, not chlorinated, and we've had that for a long time.
Right. So as an operator, and I am an operator, not only do I handle the administrative part of it, I actually am the chief operator for the city of Sunrise Beach, which on a scale compared to you guys is significantly smaller, but I do physically put my feet in the ground. I do shut-offs. I have tampering. I have all of these things, okay? So as an operator, my personal preference is not chlorinating a water system for a variety of reasons. I have my personal beliefs about it, but ultimately it comes down to fiscal management. And we all know chlorination is expensive. Long-term chlorination is expensive, especially when we're meeting the requirements that DNR has set. It's a pain, right? Like, you have to chase this around constantly. And ultimately, if I gain a water system as a contract operator that's chlorinated, as long as it's not a mandated chlorination, which you guys have kind of dodged the bullet on that, thankfully, the opportunity is there to remove that chlorination. It's a long process. So my understanding of the situation is that DNR has issued you a bilateral compliance agreement instead of an administrative order. If they've issued you an administrative order, you would be required, without question, to permanently chlorinate. You're not there. The compliance agreement gives you the opportunity to negotiate, and that's where you are at now. So there's a variety of options to go about doing it, and not that they're applicable to you at all, because I don't know your water system. In fact, I wasn't even sure I pulled in the right driveway to get here today, so obviously I am uninformed about your specific situation. But some of the things that have worked for us in the past is, if I have multiple wells, can I only chlorinate the singular well and that distribution system that's having the problem, keep it isolated from the rest of the system, and take the rest of the system off of chlorination? That's been something that we've had approved in the past. Something else that we've had approved in the past is, what if I am aware of what is causing my E. coli? So a couple of years ago, I had a subdivision where backflow prevention on an irrigation system had failed. We had some falsified reports about our prevention and inspection of said backflow device. That's a whole other situation. Ultimately, what ended up happening is we were backside cleaning the lawn water where his dogs were going to the bathroom into the water system and distributing it to everybody else. So as we were able to isolate that section out, which took time, we were able to back out of chlorination across the system. So there's different avenues to pursue, and with you having this compliance agreement presented to you, what DNR is indicating is that they're open to negotiations. They're open to solutions, right? Ultimately, all that they care about is your citizens are being provided with safe drinking water, okay? And not even to say clean, because they don't monitor or regulate aesthetics. So you can have cloudy water, you can have red water, as long as it meets the requirements, they want it to be safe. That is their end goal. Your end goal is proper financial management. We want to have happy customers. We don't want people complaining constantly, because as an operator, it makes our jobs more difficult. So we have to chase those complaints per DNR regulations. So there are avenues that allow you the luxury to make this a temporary solution. Another one that we've done is a line replacement program. I had an aged system that was installed back in the 60s. And instead of chasing leaks on the regular, that board came together with their engineer. We designed a 10-year line replacement program, and we were able to complete that and remove chlorination. So you have options in front of you. The question is, how do you go about accomplishing that, and what option applies specifically to your situation?
So your company, what does your company look like? You said you're like Alliance, so do you contract with the city to run that with your employees?
Yep, so I very jokingly tell my clients I'll take their money however they want to give it to me. And what that means is I have some clients who do not want to think about it, right? They want water to come out the pipe, they want water to go down the pipe, and if anything else goes wrong, they call me, and that's great, and they're billed appropriately. I have other clients who are heavily involved and only want me on site for consultation and sampling. That's great too, we can do that as well. So my position in the city of Sunrise Beach, for example, is I'm chief operator I share some of the public works director responsibilities in regard to like new connection inspections. I handle the complaints, things of that nature. One of the perks of that for them is I don't operate where I live. These people aren't my neighbor. So if I have to make somebody mad, I can make somebody mad for the benefit of the city without having to live with them, okay? And they do appreciate that value because it is difficult, because the caveat to it though is that when you have operators that live in your community, there's a passion there that you cannot trade because this is their home, right? And so my passion expands more broadly to cover the lake area. This is where I'm raising my family. I have family who live in Alvin. I mean, my niece and nephew swim at the pool and do all the things. My sister-in-law teaches Taekwondo at the community center. So I do have roots here even though I don't live here. And so that passion still exists to a point for us as a company. But when you have people living in the community, it's just bigger and it's more deeply rooted, so.
Our wells are fine.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with our wells, and never has been.
Great.
Is that right, guys?
Correct.
Nothing wrong with our wells, and never has been. So, do we get a get out of jail free card from DNR?
No.
Because they're doing so much construction and any situation, is there any way, are they being nicer to us
Yes.
because of that?
So keep in mind, and as I say this to a government entity, but we are working with the government, so there's no get out of jail free card on any of this. That first get out of jail free card was the first E. coli situation. Second one happens, and they're done. So you guys kind of dodged the bullet, so to speak, in the aspect that you voluntarily started chlorination prior to a mandate for it, which as long as you continue that chlorination voluntarily, gives you the negotiation room to remove it in the end game. So, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but the expensive part to maintain is the well itself, the drill itself. That's where the root of the water quality is from. And what you know then is, think of it kind of as like a tree with a root system. So the trunk is your well, and your distribution system is just all those roots spreading out and supplying water to everybody. What you are capable of doing at that point is negotiating with DNR. So like the line replacement program that I was speaking of, you would be able to say, over the next 10 years, 5 years, whatever finances look like for you, we're gonna place X amount of section of lines, and then ultimately what they would ask you to do is take source sampling directly from the well for a year. So you're gonna have 12 months in a row of source sampling to prove that your wells are still producing good quality water. And there's really no reason why they wouldn't allow you to remove it. And that's what I've done for the city of Barnett. We took our sampling over the course of the year. Everything has come back good. I submitted my application. Engineering is reviewing it. I pull about one water system a year off of chlorination. It's just my personal preference. So some operators like chlorine. It's a good insurance policy, but I don't.
Our citizens don't.
And I don't
They
blame
really
them.
don't want it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. When you add it to an aged infrastructure like you guys have, it shocks the system, so to speak. And so I'm sure you guys are probably seeing a lot of sediment come out. You're seeing a lot of iron precipitate out. You're probably having like cloudy water complaints, all the things. Yeah, it's kind of like you get used to a smell over time, and then you don't smell it anymore. They're used to what their water is like. So when you change that or add something differently, it's extremely noticeable. And it's understandable. It's not pleasant. You guys don't want it. They don't want it. Unfortunately, it's a temporary necessity. And I would emphasize temporary, and I would encourage you guys to follow that path to keep it temporary.
Can we meet with you, Caitlin?
Yes.
The two of us, and then Sarah, since she brought you too.
Yeah.
Can we meet sometime and go over some things? So we've talked to Alliance. We obviously, we've talked to American Water.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's kind of throwing a bunch of stuff at us. So at some point, we're going to sit down with the board and say, look, this is what everyone's throwing at us.
Yeah.
Either we take one of these options, none of these options, but we have to make a plan of some sort. So there's a time when you can meet with us. We can kind of tell you what we talked to them about, and so apples to apples, and kind of look at it.
Yeah, and just in all transparency, give me warning.
Yeah.
I'm exceptionally thirsty this time of
Yeah.
year, so definitely use some warning. One of the things that I would recommend is in my conversations with DNR over the last few days, I know you guys have a response that's due in a couple of days, ask for an extension.
Yeah.
tell them exactly what you just said to me. We are exploring options. Can we please have an extension? There is no reason why they can't give you another 30 days to, and they understand too that your council only meets once a month, so you really can only make a decision once a month.
Well, and we.
Twice, okay.
And we, threw a lot at them because they also came the night American Water was here, and so we had lots of questions, and I feel
Yeah.
like, we expressed their timeline was a little, and they know that.
They
So,
do. They're aware of it, and what you have to understand is when DNR is coming at you, they're coming at you from a regulatory side, and many of those guys are not licensed operators. They've not operated, but they know the regulations in and out. And so when we have a question about regulations, we reach out to DNR. When I have a question about a weird thing happening in my water system, I reach out to a fellow operator. So everybody has their strength, and there are truly some questions that they can't answer. There's experiences that they haven't had or that they haven't been exposed to even present as a potential for you guys to explore. So absolutely, I would be more than happy to. I gave Sarah some cards and reach out.
You guys all should have one, David.
You guys have any questions before we?
The only other thing I will say is, I did reach out to her, because I really strongly believe we need to explore every available option and resource, and we do need somebody that speaks DNR, because we don't. And she will be able to help us now, and those regulations, I read regulations every day, and those regulations are hard.
They're intense.
They
Probably one of the more difficult ways
Yes.
operators have to pass a test, honestly, because we have to know them.
Yeah.
And then you forget them.
So I feel like just keeping our options open and hearing what people have said. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
Sorry to just throw you in the.
If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm gonna run away, but, because I actually have another board meeting I need to get to, but obviously you have my card, reach out, and I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
So she is correct, you got to respond by Thursday.
So we can ask.
You
them.
need an extension. Yep. It's already been discussed with them, DNR will give you an extension.
Perfect. Any other citizens?
Thank you.
With anything? Go to the countryside project. We need to make a decision. I was not there, I'll walk around, so we'll let get a report update on that.
We've got that.
Got it, come on up.
So, we're gonna walk through the countryside. Gentleman was there.
Feel free to shout, Ellen, I can't
Sorry,
hear you.
let me pass these out real quick, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, we would have been, me, and I was joined by Don Jenkins. Scott was not present at the time, he went on vacation. But, we're gonna walk through the countryside with, Alderman Benjamin. Actually, Steve, I probably should. We're gonna walk through with Alderman Benjamin, with, Mr. McKinney and Ms. Crockett, as well as Mr. Luker, who's not here today. And that and a bunch of homeowners from Countryside Estates showed up as well, and walked through with us to mark areas on the map that we saw that were probably the most deteriorated. Compared to the map that I had here previously, we were able to remove a few sections, and it ended up totaling out to 662 linear feet of curb and gutter that should be replaced, and we believe needs to be replaced. It's
That
all.
is not going to be replaced already. It's
That
not
is, yes.
guaranteed to be replaced already.
Yeah, that's not in the current contract.
Okay, thank you, that's what I wanted.
So you're looking at 107,000 is what your estimate is?
That's in accordance with the unit prices given by the contract.
So this is.
If we do an exchange order, will they do it?
Yes.
So we don't have to go out to bid for that, it's just an exchange, just a change order for that piece of
Just
it.
realize that their price for curb and gutter needs to be on the high side.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
And I missed the last meeting, so can I ask two clarifying questions? One, originally the bid was like 2.2 into that?
No, that was to do the whole, all the.
That was to do with everything.
Okay, so, okay, I missed
That
part of
wasn't a
this.
bid, that was just an
An estimate,
estimate.
yes, an
To
estimate.
let you know what it would cost to replace the road completely, replace all curb and gutter completely,
Okay.
$2.2 million.
So this is you all doing a walk, I was at work that day, so that's why I wasn't there, but you guys were doing a walkthrough to find the areas that are,
First areas to be replaced above and beyond what's already going to be replaced due to service line connections.
okay. And citizens from Countryside were there? Yes. With you all?
Yes.
There were more citizens than aldermen.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the things I saw, I was very surprised. The majority of everything I saw was already in the contract. Everything we pointed to, no, that's already in the contract, that's already in the contract. I mean, and I can't tell the difference between what is and what isn't.
Right.
And then I have a concern about when this is all finished, who goes around and approves that the work was done and done correctly?
This man right here.
Oh, Evan, we're gonna be such friends. Well, I've seen with the big corporations that have come in, and I've had citizens complain to me about them leaving things undone, and I suggest that they talk to City Hall, for example. I don't wanna mention names, I'm not trying to throw rocks at
What we
anybody.
do is a semi-final inspection on the project, and normally we invite city staff, as well as council members, to attend that semi-final inspection. You all get the opportunity to participate.
We hold retainage back till the end, until we're satisfied, till they're satisfied, and then as a board, if anyone wants to go out there and look at it as well as what the scope was and say, yes, that's great, that's not great, then we have that opportunity whenever we do the final walkthrough and then say, yes, we're good to go with the project or not.
So on
And
this
every project.
107, that would just be part of the original contract.
And that's not part of the original.
It's a change order for extra money.
That's correct.
Would there be a difference if will it that be the final walkthrough as well?
No, we wouldn't do a final walkthrough until after all the work is completed.
And so
So if we do a
the
change order for
contracted
this
work
dollar amount,
and the change order work,
that's
and then
correct.
you do a final walkthrough.
We do a
So
semi-final.
you wouldn't be able
then
to
we
tell
do-
the difference in
Right.
anything.
We do a semi-final walkthrough with everybody that wants to participate. We put a punch list together, and then Evan will go out and verify that the punch list items are all taken care of in a final walkthrough with the contractor. And that's when we sign off on it to DNR as well as to the city that the work is complete.
Okay, is there a timeline for completion, and, is that timeline listed in the contract?
The original timeline was April for completion, and we're far past that.
Yeah.
Which is a different discussion that shouldn't be happening at the city.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to,
I know,
Stir the
Bob,
water
that
up.
should go into
I just-
closed
So,
session.
so in your opinion, so the price that we're getting, $107,000, is $162 a linear foot, right?
Yeah.
Looking at this, you said you think that's high?
We paid on First Street 126, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
With $126 a foot was what we paid on First. We just received bids where everything's coming back down. And the recent bid was $60-something a foot, $65 a foot
Is that for rollback
Seriously?
or vertical?
for curb and gutter. Both.
It's 5A regular curb and gutter and all that.
65.
60 to 65.
$65 a foot.
Back out, it sounds like.
So if you go out for bids, you may end up with a better price.
And that's half.
I'm all for saving money.
I mean, I think we're crazy to go above.
You know, those are the numbers we're getting. All of a sudden, prices have come back down to concrete. bids, you're gonna spend a little money, cause we're gonna have to put some plans and specs together in order to do that, but you could cut this in half easily.
So you're talking a total project of 150, because then we take the other curbing that they were going to do with it, where they cut it. We take that out as well and put that in
No.
this project. Let them do that.
We allow them to complete their
Okay,
project.
so you're just talking 107.
Yep.
All right, board.
I would like to save the money, but if it's gonna cost us more time getting the project done, I'm good with $107,000. I hate to say that, but I want it done. But if it's gonna be a,
Yeah,
Are
let's
we
just
gonna-
go through the timeline. You're required by state law to bid this for a 21-day period. Then it's gonna take you 30 days to get a water contract. Then it's gonna take you another 2 months to get the contractor out there.
I say we
So you're
could change.
4 months minimum.
And if they're doing their sections, do we really want another company to come in and fill in the gaps?
I don't.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot smoother.
Can
Just
we
one fluid
negotiate the
contract.
price with them
No, we
to
cannot.
do the extra work?
No.
Well, that's not fair.
We already.
That's why we
Price.
tied down to that price at the very beginning.
That's, I understand, I was
Are
just
the-
hoping.
There's citizens here from Countryside, correct?
Yeah.
Are y'all happy with?
Well,
walkthrough?
the question can we see the map? I mean, we walked, but I don't know what what is the revision onto it.
Terry, I think I agree with you. I think they're there, they're committed, they're under contract. All we need is a change order, and we really need to get this finished. I was really disappointed when I went out there and saw, and with the whole subdivision and saw how awful it is.
I mean, I think what's hard to understand with this is basically, I don't realize what's gonna be taken care of with Ditmer, right? Like, I was expecting to see what actually is gonna be done, because every time this process has happened, less and less is getting fixed. And
This is additions to what is currently being done, this is not total.
this is less than the original map that they introduced 4 meetings ago.
Because we're adding this to that.
And we have a map of Ditmer's, that's what we're asking, so we can see.
This is in addition to the original map
Yes.
that you guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
You're correct, Josh. This is less than that first one where
Yes.
there were spots in the first one that you
Yeah.
took out.
And so I
Less
think,
fixing.
yeah,
This is less fixing than yours.
correct.
Evan, we were just talking up here, Evan said that pretty much every house will have something that has a service line.
Every house that has a service line.
No, I understand that, but I also understand that, again, I'm not trying to just point to my house in particular, but I know that I literally have parts that have 0 curb. It's gone, it's dirt, that was not impacted by Ditmer, that I'm not on here, right? And I think that I didn't say anything before because I was trying, how do you say something before you know how this is gonna play out, right? I want to point out that I did not create, as a resident, I didn't create the standard of the project that was supposed to be done, right? The city is the one who told me, I was told you're getting new roads and new curbing, right? So my expectations as a resident was based off of what the city said was gonna happen. And so I think at this point, the frustration is every time since that point, it's gone less and less and less. So, I didn't create the expectations. I have the expectations based again off of what the city said was gonna happen. And part of that expectation was when this was all said and done, my yard was gonna be fixed. We haven't even readdressed that, because again, in that conversation, your yard was gonna get fixed after the curbing was replaced and the roads was replaced. And so, this has just been hard to follow. You all have seen me. I have been to months of these meetings, and following this process has been exhausting to me. I'm sure as it has been for you. because it makes zero sense. Because I feel, as me looking at this as a resident, right, and I'm not trying to be judgmental at all, but we are really on the backside of the work that's being done, and we're still trying to figure out what the scope is of this project. We've been talking so flippantly. I understand that it was an estimate of $1.2 million, but that has been the city already voted, what was it, 3 meetings ago, that we would correct what needed to be corrected. So the $1.2 million was never even, like, we didn't even have to keep talking about that, because that's not the scope any longer. The council members voted 3 meetings or 4 meetings ago to say, like, hey, we're willing to correct the curbing issue of what needs to be fixed in the subdivision, right? Based off of, I think, the expectation of what the city promised the residents. And so now this is less than any of that, and it's just a hard pill to swallow. And so based off of what was told, and then also how we're still figuring out, like, and even that $1.2 million, even if you go back to that, that was a mere estimate. It was not a bid, that was not actual numbers. And so much of this process has been discussed in just assumptions. And that also has been hard to follow. So yeah, for me, there is frustrations, because I can't really follow what the expectations are, or what's really gonna be done. And then when it gets decided, it's less than really anything that was ever promised. Or even not promised, what was said was gonna happen. And so, what I expected after the, no, it's fine, but what I expected from the walkthrough, this is what I expected, because after that meeting, when the council voted to say, hey, we're gonna walk through this, we'll correct what needs to be corrected, the group was supposed to meet again. I got invited to a meeting that was supposed to happen on June 19th. I was off of work. It was Juneteenth. It was a state holiday. I told Rodney, I'm like, I can make it. Didn't happen, right? That following Monday, they were supposed to meet again, because we were supposed to talk about the curbing in the subdivision. Meeting didn't happen. Mr. Fair and Steve Johnson are the ones that met, walked through. Then that meeting was on that Tuesday. Mr. Weberry asked Rodney, okay, you're the one that went out and looked, what do you think? Mr. Fair said, I think they're trash, basically. And so from that, my expectation was there was going to be the Public Works to kind of mark out what they thought needed to be replaced, along with the MECO map that I still don't agree with, because I walk that neighborhood. I know curbing. There's residents that's waiting to replace their driveways based off of these curbs getting repaired, because they're deteriorating around their drives. And this is not a reflection of that, in my opinion. And it is not a reflection of what the city said they were going to do for this project. We have been dealing with this project. It will have next year, because this is not going to get done this year. I have totally accepted that, right? It has gone through 3 calendar years. It started in 25, we've gone through 26, and it will go through some of 27.
So it actually started in 2020, you wanna know?
Well,
We started doing it.
when stuff started getting tore up.
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking at this project in the beginning, we were only gonna do it under the curbs, just so you guys kind of know the timeline. We were only gonna do it under the curb in the beginning, and we were gonna take out all the curbs and put it under the curbs. That didn't seem feasible after we started looking at it, so then it came in the middle of the streets. So this has been a long-term project, it's been shovel-ready for COVID money, to be honest. We tried to get that grant 3 or 4 times. This has been a long process, and it has taken 1,000 different forms. We gotta make a decision tonight. That's where I'm at. Something has to happen
I
tonight.
say
don't know
we
what it
accept
is.
this map as it is with our plan. If there's something that happens, that if his is not done where it needs to be, we can always do a change order to add his on, correct?
Yep.
I mean, I think that we're gonna make it right for the people in Countryside. I mean, we want it to look nice, it's our city, even though it may not be our neighborhood.
So, okay, so what is the process for when someone says it's not the way it's going to look?
What was the original, I don't know what you call it, the original
thing they were gonna do with the curb? What was the original?
Replace them all.
Whatever it was.
Replace them all.
That was the
told
original,
everybody.
that was the original plan.
That was the original plan, is to replace them all.
That's not what is in the contract.
It's not what's in the contract, the original plan is to replace them all.
Okay, and that was in 2020?
2020, we were only gonna replace the curb, we weren't gonna get in the road at all, other than. what
And
we
how
did.
many of us were on the board in 2020? I was not.
So that was with COVID money as well, so there were some stipulations there. So like I said, this thing has taken a million different turns.
Can I speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Steve Randall. I was talked to few years ago, I don't know, but exactly, who was the city? Don Spence. He called me into his office, we talked, he's gonna come right through my yard. He promised, this, and I know he's not here anymore, yard's gonna be perfect, better than it is now. Streets are gonna be back to normal, better than they are now, kind of thing. And then, of course, I had a couple of city guys come out, they're in this room, and talk to me, and they, same thing. This was right before it started this year, and said, made these, I'm not gonna say promises because they didn't stand there and say, I promise you, but unsolicited, hey, we're gonna do this. You're gonna have a new paved street, you're gonna have new curbs, you're gonna have a nicer yard than the yard before. I told one of the guys, I said, well, I want Zoysia grass back in my yard. Oh, that's no problem. Actually told me to go to the cemetery and grab some of that. And I'm not gonna go do that, but he just said you can get, with Zoysia grass, it spreads. So he said get plugs or whatever. But that was what I was told, and it's easy to tell those things when you have a clipboard and you're wanting someone to sign over part of an easement for that person. That person wasn't me. We found out that easement was my neighbor. He's the one who had to sign the paper. Not gonna bring his name up either, but that's kind of what Josh was saying. We were told one thing, here's where we are. I don't feel like we're coming in here and trying to hit the lottery and like get our house in order. It was told, and we just feel like it should follow through.
I believe enough in this board and the citizens and this mayor and city administrator that this sounds like, do you know the Army definition, and the first word is Charlie, and then there's another word in the Army alphabet that kind of describes what this situation has evolved into. Are we familiar with that? Well, I now feel like I know much less than I knew when I came in the meeting tonight, because I wasn't around in 2020. I imagine the iterations are completely frustrating, as any time you work with any governmental entities. I believe these people mean well and are trying to do the best they can with what they have to work with. I am very sorry it is so messed up. If there is a way that we can conclude this part of the project, we were talking about the 107 or whatever the figure was, I don't know. And going ahead with that, and then doing a walk around and a walkthrough, and that would then include the things that your expectations, what you were told, how to incorporate that into moving this project forward. Is there a way we can do that, Mr. Mayor? Can we include some of the things they're talking about into moving forward
That's why I
with
asked
the
what the
project?
process was, if we're going to look at other areas that need to be fixed, there needs to be some sort of process for that. That's what I was asking for, the process to add.
This is our start, I think.
I'm okay with that, if that's the way we want to go, as a board.
But what's gonna happen? I agree, it's a good start.
So here's
But
what I always think about. It's not just one neighborhood. We're going to do this in other neighborhoods, so we're going to get that fixed. We have to, whatever process we set out now is what we need to go with forever, as long as we're at a board. Whatever that process is. If it's, we go through and walk through and look at those places, is there a process for someone to come to us when they don't agree? But I can tell you that I drive by somebody's house every day and there are pieces of that curb missing that's, it hasn't been on either one of these two maps. I'm like, man, where's that at? So, I don't know, there needs to be a process, I think, that we need to have some sort of process that, hey, we think there's no curb at this spot, we can fix it now, or a road's gonna deteriorate there, because we are going to pay for that.
I would like to make a motion, we do a change order for the 662 linear feet and go from there.
Okay. I think that's a great starting place, but we don't have a process, we don't know what's gonna come next, and we don't know how we're gonna, are we making any agreement with the citizens that we're gonna go back and look at things and go any further with this to try and fix what we agree? We didn't agree to anything. I don't think any of us were here, except Jerry.
So I called the city in 25. So I was not at 2020. That was a different discussion. So the scope of my understanding was from 2025. It was a few months ago. Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying my expectation is coming from current. And having said that, I don't know what was voted on 3 or 4 meetings ago, but wasn't that a change order then?
No, it was to go and fix the, look at the areas to fix. What was voted on at that point was to look at the areas to fix. Was it a change order? No, we haven't done an actual physical change order. He has to bring that to us as a contracting thing. And we also have to put it out to keep it whenever we do the change order.
And I will say this too, had a project not started in Countryside, I mean, we're here because of where the project's happening. My expectation as not just a resident living in a subdivision, but as a resident of Eldon, is that projects are done appropriately wherever they're started, right? Like, I think that so much stuff has been band-aided along for so many years, and this is going to be something that gets kicked down the road. They will not last another 40 years. And when I talked about at one of the meetings about the water, I said, look, I think that Eldon's gonna have to come up with a game plan of when this stuff is gonna get fixed. I think what's also hard to swallow this about is it's also just like, we don't have the money, we don't have the money. I don't know what that means as a resident, but to me, that's not an answer. Guess what? You figure out how to make it work, or something needs to change, because if this town's that broke that they can't ever address infrastructure issues, we have a bigger problem than this one specific
So let me ask you this, Josh,
project.
do you fix everything at your house when it breaks? Or do you let it sit for a while sometimes?
don't.
Wait, this is,
Yeah.
what you're asking us, you're telling us that we're not managing the money correctly. That's what you just said. And I take offense to that, and I'm a good friend of yours. But what you just said is that if the city's that broke that they can't address all their infrastructure needs right now, that's what you just said, that something needs to change.
What I said was that the city needs to be able to have a plan in place to address the infrastructure things down the road. What I was talking about this specifically was, it has been brought up multiple times that the city doesn't have the money to fix this project. But it was initially in scope. That's why I said I can't follow
So
what
curbs
it's.
and gutters and streets, just so everyone knows, it's coming out of the water fund.
Correct.
Just so everyone knows, it's not coming out of streets, it's not coming out of any of those other things. Countryside would not be getting fixed, the streets would not be getting fixed had we not done a water project.
And I understand that.
I wanna make sure that's clear to everyone, because
Yes.
that's a misconception out there that we're paving Countryside first. The reason we're paving Countryside right now is because we're doing a water project there and have torn the streets to oblivion. That is what is going on right now. I wanna make sure that's really clear to people, because there are places that the streets are just as bad as what we've got now, that we're not touching yet.
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure that's clear.
Very clear, and just
Okay.
so I wanna make sure that I was clear, I'm not talking about that everything should be fixed across the board. What I was talking about is the comments that had been made about this specific project,
I get it.
not across the town. I understand that, and going back to the house, no, there is things that need to be fixed. Maybe I don't fix them all at the same
No,
time.
you do, your house is
But,
really nice.
well, but I'm just
getting
saying,
yours.
but I have a plan of how to fix those, and that's what I feel like we're missing here, is what the plan is. If we don't fix this, what is the plan to address it 5-10 years down the road? That is what I meant,
Well,
so.
and I would say that, and Brian can weigh in on this too, because many meetings ago, we started talking about having an assessment, because it's bigger than just this project. It's the houses coming in, the infrastructure in the water, the problems there, the growth in the town not matching the growth in all the public safety and all of those things. So yes, we are trying to move forward with a plan. We are asking next year's budget to support an assessment, to have somebody outside the scope of this to take a look and say, here are some things we suggest. The water thing, we had somebody come and talk, we had somebody else come and talk tonight. So I do think that this board, as it sits right now, is very aware of the need for a plan for lots of things. We know that infrastructure is rough for the water, we know that infrastructure is rough everywhere, we know the streets are rough. I think that you have to eat an elephant one bite at a time. I think if we start chipping away at these things, I know that you don't love that answer, but the street in front of my house is tore up too. My children ride their bikes and fall on the gravel that's there, but it is what it is, it's fixed and it's there. And so I have to have faith that we all want the best for everything at the end. I know that you all were told stuff. We were all told things. People were told things before this board existed that didn't happen. You can't find future boards. You can't say we're always gonna do this and have somebody else come in here and change their mind. So I know you're frustrated and I get it. A lot of people can come here and talk about their frustrations with the city. What I would say is, sitting in this seat is very hard because there are a million problems and not millions of dollars to pluck from and fix. So you have to make hard decisions. So this to me seems like a start of a bite of the elephant. We attack this, and then we do need to think about when the next project comes along, what that looks like, what's more important. If the water infrastructure is gonna be the next priority for a little bit, that's what we have to focus on. So I hear you, and I know it's frustrating, I know it's taken a long time, but I feel like everybody up here has a good intention of trying to figure out the best solution for the city as a whole.
And I totally understand that. The one thing that I will bring up is if the street in front of your house was gonna be repaired, I would say fix the street right?
Yeah.
And so the other aspect of this project is all the stuff has been replaced in Countryside. So the idea, and I had brought this up a few meetings ago, the idea that you're gonna replace the road and then come back 2 years later to readdress curbing that's not a reality, right? You're not gonna tear the road up. So I think that from this, when I had talked about this, it was like, no one's asking for full replacement. I've never asked that. I mean, you guys know. I said, like, just really take an assessment of what needs to be done, and then because you won't come back and do it again. You will not.
Isn't that what this is?
I do not feel like that's what this is. Like I said, I have sections of curbing that, like, I had to call the city to have a 2-foot piece of rebar cut out because it was sticking out because the curbing's gone. And I'm not on here. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, that's what I'm saying. You will not come back when this is done and fix that. That's my point. I just want the stuff that really needs to be done, and then go and do that with the next street, the next area that you're in. That would be my expectations across the board. I totally understand budget. I totally understand you can't boil the whole ocean. I get all that. I get it, right? But if we don't ever do what's appropriate, when it makes sense, right? Like you've done the water, you've done the gas lines, you put the socket in, you're replacing all the roads. Like, just do what is done so you don't have to come back for 40 years. That's what I'm saying.
And that's the goal. I mean, that's been my goal. I've heard you say it a million times. I don't want to touch it for 30, 40. I'll be gone.
Hopefully not.
I will be by that.
So, for what it's worth, that's it. I won't say any more.
So there's nowhere on a previous map that you appeared. And
The
you don't-
only map that I've seen is the first one that Migo provided, and again, This is less than the first one, and I
He wasn't
wasn't.
on it either. He wasn't on it.
So-
That we were gonna put at the end of that street.
This one,
Remember we're down by Richard's house?
in between Richard and,
The drains in there too? The drains in there too?
That part of the original.
No, 'cause we were gonna add that curb and water to that.
there's nothing where that is.
Exactly, we were talking about that. Put the drain in there so the water will.
Yeah, because they were
I make one
Okay,
suggestion.
yes, right here.
Yeah.
Can I have one question? We already got that on
Just
the floor. But we can go around the property owners,
This is the
talk
one
to
for
them
this.
individually,
And this will
and
cover
put a map together on what they think
Yeah.
curbs should
And
be
then there's
replaced.
somebody over here.
Bring that back, add it to this, and feel it's necessary.
I mean, like, I'm fine with that, like, I would want, here's the thing, I put a lot of weight on what Steve says too, like, I would want Steve there, you know, I mean, he's part of this project as well, it's not, I don't want it just to be like, Josh says this is what needs to be done, but I also want to be able to say, like, these are, I mean, yes, part of it, I want it to be looked at, right? But I also want to say, like, look, if you say this curbing that is literally deteriorating is good curb and will hold up to support this new road that's putting in, then yeah, I would like an explanation of why you say that's okay, right? Like,
I mean, these guys are the engineers, so if you guys would
We can
want.
go around with Steve, if that's your desire.
I just want,
Would you-
I'm not
would you
saying
be happier
Steve
with that?
has
Would that
to.
be better if you could at least say, hey, look, this is where I'm talking about, because I know where you're talking about, because I see it every day, but there are places that might be advantageous if you'd say, Josh, this is it, this is the piece right here that there was rebar, now it's gone. Yep.
And a piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Piece across the street from us down where the mailbox is. They would like to talk about, I'm sure, what's the scope for the milling of the current, the existing asphalt, it's just overlaid again and 2 or 3 or
They're gonna mill down
10
both
years
edges,
ago.
they'll mill it down both edges to where it meets where the current curve is.
So it doesn't go below for the next lift? So
You
the
mean,
next-
no,
so
no,
the
no,
next
no, yeah,
lift-
they'll mill it down to where whenever it's finished, it will be even with the curve, if that makes sense. Sorry, I said that wrong.
It does.
Yeah, they'll mill it down.
The only thing I would say about going around the houses is, I think you're setting a precedent to have to do that every time this project comes to any other city.
It's up to you guys.
So I'm
Alright,
fine
move
with
it
that,
forward.
just making sure we offer that opportunity. Because they're gonna have the same complaints we do when we try to fix this, so I'm fine with that, but I think that we need to make sure that's offered, even for the other things like that.
Well, how do you residents feel about that as an option?
I personally think if I'm there and somebody's coming up to form up the curb, you know, and I'm at the house or my wife, and I'm gonna walk out there and see if they're going as far as I thought they should. Now, is that the time to have the discussion when the workers are there? No.
He's talking about doing it beforehand.
Prior to that.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's the point.
I agree with that. My point is if we don't do something prior to that, people will come out of their house when they're working, and that's not the workers'
Yeah,
jobs
yeah.
to
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
So if,
If it's a known date, at least neighbors can ask, another neighbor will show up if they're not gonna be available and speak their concern.
Yeah, I like it, that's a good idea.
Do you guys on the board, do you think that's a good idea for the engineers to do that? Would that go a long way to problem solving this?
Okay. Mhm. So are we, okay, there's a motion. Is there an amendment to it, or?
I made a motion to we start with this and then do possible change orders to add on like Mr. Runion's house that we know was not on that.
Well, can we have these people go?
How soon can you do it?
Do I think we need to be knocking on doors and go? I think that they should be able to get a
We're gonna be
decision.
on site anyway, so we can do it tomorrow.
I don't know if anybody that ever can be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll have to let people know. I mean, you might catch some of them
We
then,
can catch
but.
whoever we can, we can make arrangements.
that would
But
be-
if we go with Terry's suggestion of going ahead and starting this, wouldn't that move it forward
Yeah, I
for
think,
now?
no, we have to
So
make
I
some
think if
motion.
we had a motion or whatever that follows Terry's to say, this is our start, and in addition,
got, if we're gonna change order in additional work, we need to change order that
That's mine.
in. Otherwise, we're
Okay,
gonna
and
change
there's
the
a
re-
Okay.
Or motion?
There's your second.
Second, yeah, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, one other real, I don't think it's safe to, if you got.
Okay, now, do we need a motion about them going?
No, they'll just go. One quick question, is the concrete on Champagne still going to be filled in all the way down through there? It's going to be concreted down through there, so if they start concreting, they could start there first, that gives you some time to go talk to people, hopefully, and, okay.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry. When you go door to door, are you gonna go in the evening when they're home or in the
Yes.
daytime when they're not home?
We'll go whenever it's available.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now paving on this side. Paving, we need to probably go out and do paving on it as well right now. Well, actually 6 months ago. Nope, I have not put anything out to bid. He is getting estimates on square foot.
I got a quote today, at the end of the day, from Capital, but it's not the bids, it's still have to put out bids.
Are they saying that they can do it this year?
We got 21 days, and it's weather opinion, and we really need to make some decisions. Right now, I mean, we got quotes on all those streets and all, they're not guaranteeing nothing right now. It just really depends on when we get it out to bid, and when we accept bids, and if we accept bids.
My opinion is we need to go out to bid
So we
right
gotta
now.
get,
Make a motion to get up for bid.
Second.
Okay, is that just Countryside or is that also the other pieces that we have?
All of them.
All of them?
all of it. Now, the quotes I got on all the roads are $600,000.
I think we still need to go out to bid altogether, and hopefully we'll get it cheaper for the mobilization fee that's already being town doing, it's a bigger project.
I look for it to be close to what our quote is, and if you put it all together, it's about $1.7 million.
Okay.
We got to the very end of the day, Eric called, but that, they didn't do anything with curbs yet, we hadn't made a decision.
Okay, and that's Countryside, that's, what are the other?
That's, First Street,
Okay,
part of Walnut, Fourth Street, North Street, parts of, that strip through Walnut, went first, all the way down to Court Street, and then North Street, and then parts of Godfrey.
is all of, is
So
all,
we took Godfrey out, remember, because of the construction that
Well,
was going on over
yeah.
there?
They followed all the very first one, Godfrey's been taken off.
what is the infrastructure look like under this other places? Are we good everywhere there?
No. That's where we're gonna put a new water line in Court Street.
Oh, okay.
Where are we at on that?
Have we got a DNR permit issued yet?
Court Street.
Court Street? I don't think we have yet. No. As soon as they give us a DNR permit, we can.
So you may need to take that one off, cause I don't wanna put it up right after we get done. I don't wanna put it in the bid and, yeah. Everything else is good underneath those other streets? Okay, so there's a motion, there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes, okay. All right, staff updates, Chief Burns.
Good.
Steve?
We've been working on the trail. You guys have probably catch some questions about letters that we sent out for lead pipe services and galvanized. That is a letter that there was 900 of people in town that did not go in and inspect their homes.
When did you come around to go in and inspect?
That was, we had all clear, contract was all clear, we come in and did that.
They never came to my house and I got a letter.
Well, we sent out letters because All Clear gave us a list of what ones they could not get in. So now we have to finish it up. And it's regulated by DNR and EPA that we keep following up on this and find out what's in everybody's home.
So will you guys come around and check, or do we have to hire somebody to
No,
check?
we're gonna come and check.
Okay,
Yeah, I just gotta get in, take a picture, verify the pipes, and we're good.
so you're gonna go crawl underneath my house to check it?
Sadly.
Somebody's skinny with you.
I got one of those.
See, no one came by my house, and I didn't know either, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, some people, they got, some people did. You didn't get a letter, they must have got yours.
That was a contracted thing, we contracted out with a company to come do that through a grant.
I didn't get a letter and nobody came to my house.
Well, the ones that didn't get a letter,
Everybody done.
everybody didn't get a letter, we have confirmation. So they must have found what they needed on yours. So if you did not get a letter from us, then we have the information on DNR and EPA. So nobody's telling you have to replace your water lines immediately or anything like that, we're just getting confirmation for what we're being asked to do. We do have a slight problem with the pool that's been closed the last couple of days. The main went out of the pool that pumps water throughout the pool. Now, with that being said, we have to take the motor off and tow it. The pump itself, the pump is obsolete. We've been working on it for 2 days. We got a report, we're gonna try to take it, put it back together and get it going. If we cannot, it's 3 to 4 weeks to order new pump and new motor. Right now, the average cost is around $11,000. So hopefully we can get it going. If not, we'll maybe down.
So get it going.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna really try hard.
That's the plan, but it ain't no problem.
Yeah, we're doing everything in our power to get it back together, but that, all that equipment's 21 years old. It's chlorine, pump a lot, pump gallons per minute, so.
Steve, is that something we need to budget for next year? Does it need to be a new one next year?
Yes, yeah. If we can get it going.
Well, regardless, if you can get it going, it still has to.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be
So it's
budgeted.
gonna have to be on the budget.
And if we're gonna do that, we might wanna go ahead and look at some of the other pumps that do the same, like the future pumps. Check into those because they're same age, same thing.
Yeah, the citizens voted in a recreation, tax, we ought to fix that stuff.
You know, we might get a better deal if we could replace, there would be 2 more to replace, and it would be 3 total. And that would update all your future pumps.
Right.
Other than that, as I said, the guys have been working on the trail some, when they can, we've had a few breakdowns, quite a few breakdowns. So we're back on track on that again. So the water guys are constantly fixing leaks, we have a lot of leaks, so please be patient, the guys are doing the best they can. Some leaks are worse than others, so. Other than that, that's about all I have.
Okay. We're going to bills. Bill 55. Sarah, this is yours.
So, a while back, we had talked about this, and I think it might have even been before Mandy, and it was just always the understanding that they would report directly to the board. And that's even how I think everybody thought the ordinance read, but it doesn't, so I'm just asking for it to be corrected to how we were all told.
Why would you report to the board instead of the city administrator? I don't see the function of that.
So this has been always kind of a push and pull thing.
Sir?
This has always been kind of a push and pull thing. This is one of those things that's changed many times. Other cities have them reporting to the board and, their city administrators that hate it. There are places out there that have them to the city administrator and the board has no control over that person in the board. I don't know if there's one right or wrong answer. It's kind of, right now in our chart, I think Mandy and David are next to each other on it.
Will the board do an evaluation?
Does it?
Will the board do it? He works every day in that office.
Right, but if he reports to the board when there are things like personnel issues or things like that, he's not under Mandy, so he could help with personnel. That's
Board can't deal with personnel.
But David could, he's a neutral party. If he reports to Mandy, he can't.
If he reports to Mandy, what?
Directly, he couldn't be a neutral party necessarily. And in the past, the city clerk had reported to the board, and when we talked about it, it was like, no, he reports to the board. And we were all like, oh, okay, but the ordinance does not reflect that.
What does that mean, he reports to the board? Give me an example of that. How would that look when it happened?
Well, if we needed something added to the agenda, it wouldn't necessarily have to wait for Mandy to approve it, it could just happen. If we
You do
Wouldn't
that.
that triangulate the system?
I mean, that's the pickle whenever, that's
I
the
mean, it
pickle
would
of
take
this
one
thing.
thing off of Mandy's plate to have to do, I don't care, I just think the ordinance need to reflect what we're told. So we were told he reported to the board, I'm pretty certain
Who
that's
told
charged.
you that?
I did,
Trevor
because
did.
that's the way I thought it was.
But it's not.
It's not as part of
Okay,
this
so
ordinance.
can't he have just made a mistake and we don't do anything and he reports to
If
Mandy?
that's what you'd like, I just want it to be correct to how we were told and how it looked in the chart. And the last chart that I have, which it might have been updated, shows that he reports to us. That's not what this ordinance says, so they conflict.
Okay,
So it
can
needs to
we
be
correct the
corrected.
chart? Let him report. They work together day to day.
If that's what you want, that's fine.
David, is there, you have to be honest here, brutally honest. Tell the truth. Is there a problem in the flow of work and the reporting system that exists now in the office?
No, and honestly, whether it says report to the board or reports to the administrator, I'm gonna continue doing the same thing. If you need something, I'm doing it. If you guys call me something, I'm doing it,
So here's the, what you need to think about is not this working relationship. It has not always been these two people in these seats.
Correct.
If there's someone else in one of these seats, what does that working relationship look like? If they don't get along, is basically what it looks like. How do you want it to look at that point? Do you
Right.
want them to
So
report
I
to
would
us?
like to make the motion that we move forward and vote.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor? All opposed? Motion
Nay.
passed. There's one.
Bill number 55, 2026. Ordinance amending chapter 120 city officials of the municipal code of the city of Elgin, Missouri by revising section 120.180 city clerk duties.
Ordinance number 55, 2026, on its second and final reading as the city clerk reads by title.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 55-2026, an ordinance amending chapter 120 city officials of the municipal code of the city of Elgin, Missouri by revising section 120.180 city clerk duties. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weaver. Alderman Crockett.
Nay.
Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Fair.
Yes.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mr. Mary, enough ayes and passage in approval.
And I declare bill number 55, 2026 to be ordinance 55, 2026. Okay, 56. This is conflict of interest that we do, I believe it's every year, right?
Yes, over here.
Any questions on this one? You've been on the board for more than a year, you've done at least once.
I make a motion that ordinance number 56, 2026 on its first reading as the first reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 56-2026, an ordinance of the city of Elgin, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
I make a motion to suspend the rules of the ordinance number 56, 2026 on its second and final reading as the first reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 56-2026, an ordinance of the city of Elgin, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weaver. Alderman Crockett.
Aye.
Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Fair.
Yep.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mr. Mary, enough ayes and passage in approval.
And I declare bill number 56, 2026 to be ordinance 56, 2026. 57 is a pay app for $122,390.84 for different ditching.
This is the final besides retainage,
Nope.
right?
No.
No?
No, there's more.
I make a motion for ordinance number 57, 2026 on its first reading as the first reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 57-2026, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute payment application number 7, agreement between the city of Elgin, Missouri and Ditmer Ditching LLC.
Make a motion to suspend the rules of the ordinance number 57, 2026 on its second and final reading as the first reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Bill number 57-2026, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute payment application number 7, agreement between the city of Eldon, Missouri and Ditmer Ditching LLC. Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weedberry. Alderman Crockett. Alderman Walker.
Yes.
Alderman Fair. Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.
Mayor, you have ayes and have it.
I declare Bill number 57-2026 to be ordinance 57-2026. Okay, I have no business.
I gave you the updated sales tax for July. It came in after the board packets went out, and so you can review those. You have a sheet there. I mean, it was the highest that we've had for the year so far as the total numbers go. And so,
Good news.
yeah, there's that. Any other questions regarding any information that I have on my spreadsheet? Oh, I'm sorry, my packet.
Do we have any idea on the sidewalk project yet? Have we heard anything from them?
Yeah, we're working, I have a monthly meeting with MoDOT, and now we're working on getting right-of-way easements. For that, I would have to look exactly where we're at, but that's what we're waiting on, but we have approval, we've got an A-date and all that kind of stuff from MoDOT.
Sounds like it could be done before my time with that on the poultry. That's what I'm shooting for.
Alderman Alderman.
Oh, hold on, Scott has a few words regarding some opportunities that he's gonna speak about now.
All right, I went to a CDBG training session, and it came out of emergency fund grants. And this project popped into my head almost immediately. The lift station over at the wastewater treatment plant that will bypass to the creek during flooding situations is a priority that's still on DNR's mind. There's potential under the emergency grant with CDBG that you could get 100% financing. We're talking about close to $1 million financing. All I need is approval to, with assistance from a vet, who's a grant administrator working under me, under my contract, to proceed with an application.
Are our audits gonna affect that?
Not at all.
I make a motion that we move forward.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? The motion passes. What's the financing? Do you know what it is? You said finance.
It may be 100% financing, it's unlimited on the dollar amount.
What is, do
Correct.
you know the percentage? What's the percentage when you say,
Percentage is 100% possible finance,
like they're gonna pay the whole thing?
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Possible. Now, we don't know what they're gonna do.
Try to get it
I mean, if they come back with 60%,
Which that's still.
still more than what we had.
Way ahead, if you come back to
Yeah.
60, anything's gonna be good enough. I'm just worried that, you know, you got $250,000 that damages that the insurance company's picking up. Next time it happens, I don't know if the insurance company's gonna pick it up and let you do it.
Okay,
And
perfect.
as far as the grant goes, I mean, the fact that it's affecting your community, your citizens, not only that, but it's spilling over into the creek or affecting the environment. And so you've got a really good case.
Good deal. Perfect. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Alderman, Alderwoman? Yeah, okay, we'll go into closed session as authorized by section 16.021, legal.
Okay, so we're going to close session.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed.
All right, Alderman Phillips.
Yes.
Alderman Weaver. Alderman Crockett. Alderman Walker. Alderman Fair.
Yep.
Alderman Benjamin.
Yes.